Hello and welcome to the Gin Weekly Update for Friday, September 8th, 2017. I'm Joel Yeast. There's a lot to cover today in the weekly update, and with us is our very own Dr. Tom to talk about a few of the exciting things that are coming up for us. Dr. Tom?
Hey, Dr. Tom here with this Friday update. I wanted to talk with you just a few moments about vibration, about energy, and about how it makes us feel inside. Because this is what's important, is that we've been involved in this gin training, and the people that are winning at the highest levels are the people that are applying this gin training. And it's really things that are as simple as simply making a decision. Because there are really two components to the decision-making process. And that is what we think and what we feel. Because each of you have had times in your lives when you thought something was a good idea, yet there was something inside of you, something in the going with your gut category that just didn't feel right. Maybe it was when you thought about it a lot, or maybe it's when you talked with a spouse or a friend or a consultant or somebody. It sounded good. It made sense in your thinking brain, yet it just didn't feel right. All of you have times like that. I want you to think about that for a moment and think about how that turned out. On the other hand, you've had times where the thinking process, you were kind of iffy, kind of so-so about it, and yet your feeling was, no matter what, don't worry about the how. This is what this is. Don't worry about the how. It just feels right. I'm going to do this. That's it, period. And I want you to take a moment and think about how those things turn out. Just reflect back on how those times in your life, when you went with your gut, when you actually listened to your inner being, what happened? How did that turn out for you? You know, I've asked this question in events all over the world, and invariably, I mean it's like a high 90, if not 99% of the time, people who are engaged, they'll raise their hand and say, you know, when I thought something but didn't feel good about it, and I did it anyway, it didn't turn out so well. And when I ask the question in events about, what about when you felt good about it, when the inner part of you vibrated and had a frequency of excitement, how did that turn out? And invariably, all over the world, people raise their hand and say, yeah, those were good things. You see, that's utilizing the gin training. You've been doing this even before you knew it was, quote, inside the gin training. Because the principles that we study in this club are worldwide principles. They're principles that have stood the test of time. They work. Listen to the training. Apply the training. You'll win. Speaking of training, I want to tell you that we have an update on what's happening in the world of Paris and our seminars that we're going to be doing there. On October the 6th and the 7th, I'm going to be teaching a mortar practitioner training in Paris. And on that Saturday night, on the 7th, that Saturday night we're going to do a free open opportunity meeting that is for gin members and their guests to invite in. I'm going to do that on that Saturday night starting at about 7 o'clock. The information will be provided for you on a link below when you finish this messaging. And then on Sunday, I told you we were going to be doing a class about engineering your quantum. It's really about overcoming your obstacles and changing your frequency and your vibration, just like I talked about earlier. And here's the new announcement about that. In talking with Blaine and in talking with Dr. Ted, and we came together and made a collective decision for your benefit. Those of you who are active dues-paying members can attend the seminar that is priced at $497, and others are registered. Those that are not inside Gin are having to pay that amount. Those of you that are active dues-paying members inside the world of Gin can come to the Sunday training that will run from 9 to 5, an interactive training, world class. You come for absolutely free. You come at a free price point. Just another gift, another benefit for you for being inside Gin. We spent a lot of time on the phone talking with Aileen and John Luke, and we've had conversations with Lee Kinney and with Blaine and with Lindsay. The team is behind this effort. And as I said, there's a link below where you can register, because this will be a very limited seating event. Both the Saturday night and the Sunday training will be limited. That there will be a cutoff point, so I urge you, make a decision. See what feels best for you. You know, in this club, we are a worldwide club. It's not just in the U.S., not just in Canada, not just in Europe, not just in Australia. It's worldwide. And recently there are some events that are going on in the world that have been very stressful for people. There have been situations and scenarios that are considered natural disasters that are very stressful for people. They're forcing people to make decisions, life decisions, very difficult decisions, like where do I live? Where do I go? How can I find my next meal? Where is my family? Where are my pets? Things that are very important, things that are critical to who you are and your frequency and your vibration. And we've reached out to many people in those areas. We have many club members that are in Texas that Hurricane Harvey was devastating for. We have many members who are also along the Gulf Coast. We have many members who are in Florida who, as you're watching this, are hunkering down or leaving, and actually depending upon where you are in Florida, there are mandatory evacuation zones. I mean, life challenges. You see, life isn't on a script. You don't always get to read it. You just have to react to and plan for things that you can control. And so, in the spirit of our club, I was talking with Blaine, and we came up with a plan that anyone that joins the Global Information Network, you know, we have this September sponsoring bonanza that's going on, and anybody that joins, the person that sponsors them gets to keep the entire $500 joining fee. And in this event, we also have the sponsoring of, if you get 3, your membership is free, where you get to keep the bonus of that, a piece of the 150 that moving forward, as long as you have 3 people that you've signed up. And what we decided to do was that anyone that actually registers for the New Orleans event. You see, New Orleans went through a situation that is exactly like what's just very similar to what's just happened in Texas. Devastation, total devastation in certain areas of that city. And now we look at New Orleans. As a matter of fact, we're going to be in New Orleans in January and look at what happens when you come together as a community, when you rebuild, when you lock arms and move forward, when you make a commitment, when you make a decision to move forward to create a community. And what we've decided to do as an extra added bonus for those areas, what we're going to do is that anyone that registers for our New Orleans event, and again, there'll be a link below, anyone that registers for that event in September, we're going to donate $100 toward that relief effort. We'll be passing along more details about that. But anyone that registers, just so we're clear, if you register for the event that's coming up in January in New Orleans, Jen will donate. You don't have to do anything different than just register or get someone to register. We will make, as a company, as a group, as a collective group of brothers and sisters, we will make a donation on your behalf, on Jen's behalf, the Global Information Network, on their behalf. We think that's very exciting. If you would like to donate in addition to that, send Lindsay an email, send Lisa an email, contact the office. We will put 100% of those proceeds toward this effort, because we are about helping others. We're about giving them a hand. We're about helping them through difficult and challenging times. And if you apply the training, you know, I have some, and as many of you do, have people who are in these affected areas, and I've been communicating with them regularly and checking up to make sure they're okay, and that they're safe first, that they're alive, and that it hasn't cost them at that level. And I want to read you just a short piece of someone that I had correspondence with this past week, because this is someone who is operated at very high levels of this club, and this is someone who was a believer early on, and I want you to understand that when you apply this training, this is what can occur for you. This is how you rewire yourself. This is how you change your DNA. This is how you change your frequency and the way you vibrate. And this particular person was talking about how, as the hurricane came in, they hunkered down. They were in their home for 5 days. they had stocked up on food and supplies, and they were in that area. They were actually 2 blocks from the mandatory evacuation zone, so they're right on the edge of this natural disaster. And she was talking about being thankful and grateful for certain things, and that thankful for the friends that had reached out and the club members that had reached out. And when she got to the bottom of this correspondence with me, it really touched me, and it showed me that these are people who understand the deal. They understand the training. And I want to read this to you because it talked about, the flooding that had occurred and how they had to take different routes. You change your life, you create new neural pathways, and how certain areas were going to be flooded for a period of time, because this just isn't a storm that blows by and it's over. It still remains as you're watching this. And at the end of the email, it says, "I'm very thankful and grateful for all your support. I'm definitely thankful for our safety and our security. I'm grateful for the incline of our driveway and our front yard, and I will never again complain about having to unload my roller bag and set it sideways or to pull it up that slope, because that slope saved our home." You see, this is how you change the way you look at things. This is how you change the way you feel about things. It says, "Thank you again for all your love and support. I'm so grateful to have you as friends. Please continue to pray for all those in the area that have been seriously impacted by this storm." We're not only going to pray for them, we're going to put our money where our mouth is, and we're going to do some things to help them. Because they are, in fact, our brothers and sisters, and they are, in fact, people who we believe in sharing the goodwill. It's about making a decision. It's about making a decision, how it feels to you, deep inside, at the very quantum level. This is what the training is going to be about in Paris. This is what our trainings and our future trainings that are going to happen in Canada, in the United States, and Australia, and worldwide, as we re-engage in uplifting this club and moving it forward on its basic foundational principles. Those principles that struck a chord in each of you that at some level said, "I'm going to join," whether you joined immediately, whether you thought about it for a while until you felt that it was right, makes no difference. The fact of the matter is you made a decision to join, and you made a decision to play full on, and you made a decision to be a part of this club. And I congratulate you for that. And I'm proud and honored to be a part of that global information network, that club of people who not only lift themselves up, but lift up others. Thank you so much for your time. Back to you, Joel.
Thank you, Dr. Tom. Well done, as always. As he mentioned, all of the links that you need are below this video, and for more information, you can email support@globalinformationnetwork.com. That's the weekly update for Friday, September 8th, 2017. I'm Joel Yeast. I'll see you again next week.